Hey out there! Look what I finally was able to find at my local Target. I would have gotten it at Toys R Us, but we had sold out. It is none other than the Jakks Pacific World of Nintendo Samus figure. Now, I have yet to open the package yet because I wanted to take a good look at it first. First, you got some very nice card art on the blister. Yeah, there we go. There's no glare on it anymore. That's a very good picture of Samus in her Metroid Prime look. And down here is the figure itself. If there's one complaint from the packaging, I could say that she very clearly looks like she's made out of plastic. I wish that they had gone with a slightly more metallic shade of orange, but that's a minor nitpick. There's her little mystery accessory with the Metroid logo on it. Very nice. And then let's take a look at the back, because this is really interesting. Down here you can see the other figures that came out in this wave, including Diddy Kong, the Blue Toad, Yoshi, Toon Ganondorf, and the Metroid, which is freaking huge when you consider it's about as big as Ganondorf. But then look at the picture of the Samus figure on the back. That's not the figure that's in the box. That figure looks a lot more like the other M interpretation of Samus. Plus, it's nowhere near as well painted. Now, I know a lot of people didn't like the other end game, of which I am in the minority, and I really like it. I really like the other end game, but I think this might be one of the first times when the prototype picture on the back does not look quite as good as the actual production figure that we got in the box. Okay, so let's get her out of the packaging and take a look at the Samus figure for the first time. But you know, once you get her out of the box, she looks kind of weird. Like, she seems to have somehow gotten smaller. Although her paint is quite a bit glossier. And, okay, I'm pretty sure you guys aren't fooled at all. That's my custom again. I just couldn't help but have her cameo. Although, for comparison's sake, there's my custom standing next to the official one. As you can see, mine is significantly smaller, but still has a larger head. It's adorable. Alright, so, yeah, so, some past customs out of the way. Here is your proper Jakks Pacific Metroid Samus figure. So, this is not the first Samus figure ever made, although it is the first one available at American retail for a reasonable price. It's not some kind of expensive, impossible to find collector's figure, or a garage kit, or an import that can run you $80 on Big Bad Toy Store. Although, for the record, if you want the Figma yourself, you can order it from ToysRUs.com for only $56 now. And, I'd say that's sour grapes, but I got mine, like, way before Toys R Us ever had available, so, you know, at least I got mine sooner. So let's take a look at Samus. Alright, so starting out with her paint job, I'm thinking the only thing on her that's really missing is a bit of a black wash, because some of her sculpted in details are a little bit lost when you consider she's pretty much sculpted all orange and yellow, because those colors are not very well known for being able to show details very well. Take a look at the back. But everything is there. She has all the mechanical detailings are sculpted in, even if it's hard to see them sometimes. And all of her important bits are painted, like all the joints, the little jets on her back, the stripes on her shoulder pauldrons. If you look at her side, she even has the green striping on her leg armor painted in, which is a pretty nice detail that a lesser toy company would have thought they could have gotten away with. I'm not sure I like that her left hand is sculpted in that calm, open posture. I think I would have preferred she had a fist like on the back of the packaging, because then she could be sculpted to look a little more aggressive. And if we look over on her cannon arm, you can see that they did actually pick out the red stripes on top of it. See? Very fine detailing. And the paint is actually pretty crisp and sharp, too. There's a little tiny, I found a couple of little tiny spots of orange and red on the yellow parts, but they are minuscule, and I'm not even sure if they're showing up on the camera. So I think we can give that one a pass too. So let's break down her articulation. Her head, it swivels left and right. I don't know if that's like a really deeply recessed ball joint, because it feels like it wants to do some wiggling and tilting, but there's just not much room for it. I can't tell if that's just an oversized mushroom peg or if it's just a really, really deeply recessed ball joint. She also has a waist joint. Again, I can't tell if it's a ball joint that's recessed too deeply, because it does seem to want to have some side-to-side wiggle as well, but it really only just swivels. Her hips, I know these are ball joints. They want a ball joint, but the sculpt of her hip armor kind of stops her legs from going out any farther than this. And it also kind of makes it a pain. I'm not even looking at her hips, am I? I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, like I said, come on, hand. There we go. Yeah, they don't really go any farther than this because sculpt gets in the way. And when they move forward, but the way that everything's sculpted down there, it almost functions like a V crotch, because it makes her legs want to go outwards when you put them forwards. But she has a really good 90-degree knee, and she has a knee swivel, so that you know, you can get the leg to go whatever direction you want, even if the leg's forward. And she has a swivel at the ankle. I'm not sure the swivel's the best joint that could have been put here. If they had like made this a ball joint so it could have some tilt, that would have been better. Like maybe an ankle tilt rather than an ankle swivel would have been better. But if it will zoom out a little bit. Yeah, we go. You see that her articulation does allow her to go down on a knee. So we can just about approximate the famous video game box art. Almost. It's not bad. It's not the worst interpretation. Her arms are the only points that I'm a little tiny bit disappointed in their articulation. Because with such huge shoulder armor, you'd think that it would be easy to put a universal joint there. Except she doesn't have one. She just has one swivel cut here, where the shoulder connects to the torso. And then she has another swivel cut underneath it. And then a third swivel cut at the elbow. And the elbow bends good. It bends 90. But, like, this is spinning meat. Like, the whole bicep part of her arm, it spins. What? That's weird. And now I completely forgot which side is outside. Okay, yeah. Like, yeah, I mean, this doesn't need to have this point of rotation. What this should have been was something to allow her arm to go in and out, which is the only flaw, the only real flaw with this figure. I'm probably going to see if I can engineer a way to give her an in and out movement on this arm. So I might just take my customizing tools to this figure in the near future. Okay, so that's actually that's pretty much all you'd say about her based on the figure itself. So she did come with an accessory. It is in this simple black box which has the Metroid logo on it, except on one face for some reason, which isn't even the bottom, that's a side. So when we open it up and take it out, we get the little Morph ball marble. Yeah, this is just a little hollow plastic ball, but it is the Morph ball, and it does look really good. So let's zoom in on it, see if we can't appreciate all of its Morph ball goodness. Like, yeah, take a... Samus, move your feet there, messing with the autofocus. Take a look at that. They actually put little little sculpting divots in the red parts. So, I don't know, like, it looks visually interesting. And the paint on it is really crisp. I mean, I got this one little... There's a little bit of red bleed there, but, I don't know, it all looks good. There's nothing wrong here. I think that this is pretty darn fantastic. So yeah. I mean, she must be some kind of contortionist wizard if she can actually fit in this thing, because it's smaller than her torso. But, I don't know. I mean, you'd think that logically, the diameter of the ball would have to be at least as long as her shin is, because there's no way to bend that. I don't know, maybe she has a liquid skeleton or something. Let's see a comparison of her next to some other figures. So here she is standing next to the World of Nintendo Link figure and my SH Figuart Mario, which, if you will remember, is actually the same height as the Jakks Pacific Mario. Seeing as that's a figure I don't own, this is a pretty good stand-in, at least for height comparison. So, Samus's canon height, according to Nintendo Power, is 6 foot 3 inches while wearing her armor. And, I pretty much believe that because she towers over Link. She's almost an inch taller than him. Link is rarely depicted as being older than 17. So, even though this is his adult form, he'd still be a relatively young guy with a bit of growing left to do. So, I would totally believe that this is how tall that Link would stand next to the fully matured Samus wearing her suit that gives her a few extra inches. The Mario is still kind of out of scale. I don't know, I guess to make him... I guess it's really hard to tell scale with these characters because the only games that they ever interact in is Smash Brothers, where like Olimar should be the size of my big toe, yet well, actually Olimar is about the size of a nickel, but still, like I feel like Mario's a little too tall here. I think if Mario was about the size of a 3-inch Sonic figure, then he would be the right size next to Samus and Link, but you know, I guess they just don't want to make a figure that small because they feel like they wouldn't be able to articulate him as well. Although Jazzwares did it, but I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much. Let's do one more. So here is Samus standing next to the Figma Samus, and at first at first glance you think it's just not really a fair comparison. After all, the Figma Samus is a really high-end, expensive figure. I mean, I spent $80 to get this thing. And even now, it would cost like $56 if you were to buy it off the Toys R Us website. I mean, it uses a very nice metallic orange that's on just this side of bronze or gold. And the yellow parts of her are also very nice and metallic. I mean, this thing looks positively just like... Well, frankly, this looks more like a plastic toy, and this actually looks like a metal armor suit in miniature. But you gotta consider the price difference. This one is $9. $9 versus $80. Or, if I'm gonna be charitable, $9 versus $56, which is still a really, really big difference in price. Like, if you take the price point into account, it's pretty much on par. It's as good. I mean, it's not. I mean, the Link figure felt like the Figma had been miniaturized. In this case, the Figma is not miniaturized. The points of articulation are different, and it's a different sculpt. But it is the more popular version of the power suit, the one that appeared in Metroid Prime, which was the very first Metroid game that I ever played. I didn't have an NES or an SNES as a kid. The first console I ever owned from Nintendo was an N64, and and there was no Metroid game on the N64. Ergo, Metroid Prime was the first game I played from the Metroid franchise. Although I have played and beaten all the other Metroid games since then, so, You know, there's no need to question my fandom. I played and loved all the Metroid games. Except for Metroid Prime Pinball. I never played that one. And Metroid Prime Hunters for the DS, I did not like that one. You know, the controls are just irritating. Like, no lock-on, no way to hold it unless you have a third arm coming out of your stomach. No thanks. But I'm not going to hold anything in the games against the figure, because the figure is freaking fantastic. All she needed to be perfect were universal shoulder joints, but aside from that, I'd say they hit it out of the park with this Samus figure. She is great, she is fantastic, she is lovely. I would recommend you try to get her. They are no longer doing a little short packing thing. Like, a case of World of Nintendo figures consists of 12 figures, and there are 4 kinds. There's Toad, Luigi, Diddy Kong, and Samus, and it's 3 of each. So you have every bit as much of a chance of finding Samus in a case as you do any others. It's not like that crap where they pack 2 Links in a case so that they can make room for a 5th Mario, a 4th Mario. They're not doing that crap. But yeah, that is the end of the story. I would recommend her. Try to hunt her down. Try to find her. She is fantastic. And I guess it's time for me to sign off. Good night, everybody.